All right, everybody. So in the last episode, we got the timing cover on and the water pump on, and we left this oil pump drive unattended because I'm going to do that in this episode. I'm going to take the oil pan back off again. But also in this episode, I went to Home Depot and I got new drill bits so we can keep drilling that head out. And this is just open, it's not into the block, luckily. So we can drill this out, tap it, and then get new bolts for it so that we don't have to reuse all the old bolts. So I got a 5/16 drill bit on this so I can put a 3/8 tap down in there. And shout out to the guy at Home Depot who told me to put the intake manifold back on to drill this out because I had broken off the head of the bolt and already gotten the intake manifold off. And I didn't know how to extract that bolt. I was going to weld a nut, but it didn't fit because the angle that the head is at. So I was looking for a 45 drill bit guide so that I could drill this out, and the guy at Home Depot was like, just put the intake manifold back on, which duh, of course. This is gonna take a while. We'll be right back. Basically what I'm doing here is I'm drilling out spraying some PB Blaster in there to oil it, then taking the vacuum and taking all the chips out, rinse and repeat until I get some progress done, and then do that till you have a hole all the way through the head. This is the part where I think my drill bit was being super dull and super broken, and neither of my drill bits worked. So this is taking actual hours for me to do before I bit the bullet and bought another new drill bit. Doesn't look like we've made progress, and it's pretty much because we haven't. The other issue I'm running into is because I'm spraying PB Blaster in here for oil and coolant. It's getting stuck down here, and my gasket is soaking it all up. That's what it's supposed to look like, and that's what it looks like when it's soaked in PB Blaster. And I don't have another timing cover gasket, and I don't want to take the timing cover off because it makes sure that there's no metal shavings getting into the oil pan. So I don't know what to do about this. I might just end up buying another gasket, but it came in a whole kit. I don't need all the gaskets, so maybe I can find just the timing cover gasket and just take the timing cover off, and then that would be pretty easy. Hopefully that's all I have to do. Back to drilling. I recorded this in a time lapse and I'm also speeding it up. This is taking me absolutely ages. I started this at 2 p.m. and I think the time when I was recording this was 5, I think. It was really late. It was taking 3 hours spent on drilling out this bolt, and I've made 0 progress. It's hard to tell what kind of progress I've actually made on this. I can tell you that I'm getting impatient. So I'm gonna heat it up with a torch, and maybe that'll ease up the metal, make it easier to cut through. So let's get to heating. Boy, there we go. All right, now that that's hot, should be easier to cut through with the drill bit. All right, so I got the intake manifold off of here so we can see what kind of progress we've made. And this is what we're looking at. Let me get the vacuum. So that's no bueno, having that slot in there. That's from, the motor rocks a lot when you're pushing down on it, and the drill bit is not quite the same size as the intake manifold hole. So this hole is a little bit bigger, so there's a lot of play that can happen. And the third factor is just because this is on a slope, when you're drilling into it, this part wants to push it down, so that's why the slot's getting pushed towards like that. So I think I'm going to start doing it without the intake manifold on, maybe until I can get it deeper in there and drilled out a little bit better. and then I can put it back on and make sure I have it lined up so that when I put a tall bolt through it, it's not going to sit in there crooked. It's going to go straight up and through the intake manifold bolt hole. So I'd swapped to a different, smaller drill bit to get to point it back in there and then to get it going the right direction so that I have like a kind of like a punch, but it's just a bigger hole, like a pilot hole. Turns out that one drills way, way, way better. So I think the drill bit that I had, this one, if it'll focus, I think this one's really dull, like really super dull. And the other one I had, the reason I bought a new one, is chipped. Yeah, it's chipped right here. It might still work. I might try it again. But those two are 5/16, and that one is 5/60. Nope, that one is 5/64. But this one just so happens to make lots of chips, as if it was actually drilling. So I think my problem is that my drill bits are dull. But this is progress, lots of progress. This is very good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a new drill bit from Home Depot. I got a good start going with the bigger drill bit with the intake manifold off. And another problem I'm having, obviously, is that the metal chips are getting into intake ports and the oil pan by going down the distributor hole. So that's bad. So I put those up to stop that from happening. But that's the plus of using the intake manifold as a guide, is that it covers all that stuff up, except for that. But it keeps all the chips right there, which is why I was using the vacuum so much. Yeah, as you can see, there's metal chips all through the plenum in here, which I don't really have a good way of getting out because the vacuum isn't strong enough to get behind the valve push rods. So I need to either take all the push rods out, which is kind of a pain in the ass, or find a vacuum extension, or get a really strong air compressor, which I don't have. I have one at work, can't bring it here though. So problem for later time. Well, the one drill bit I was using that was sharp is no longer sharp. It is fucking in two pieces now. And I don't know where the other one went, but I was making progress with it till it broke and busted my knuckle open. So I don't know. I might go to the store and buy another 5/16 drill bit, but that kind of just pisses me off.